Welcome everyone to a casted game for Age of Empires 4, and today spawning in the north corner of the map, playing in blue, we've got Beastyqt playing as the Roos, and his opponent in the south, playing in red, we've got Puppypaw playing as the Ayyubids. Welcome everyone to Dry Arabia, featuring two of the very best players in the world, of course, with Age of Empires 4, two of the very best civilizations as well. It's going to be exciting to see how they go toe-to-toe. We've got the Roos versus the Ayyubids. An interesting play here for both civilizations, actually. The Roos can typically go for a second town centre with the Kremlin, boom up with the Castle Age following in shortly behind. Speaking of Castle Age, well, that's something that the Ayyubids do incredibly well. Go for the House of Wisdom and then get the tech ups that they wish to do. Can often open up with a military wing to put some pressure on, possibly with growth to get 8 villagers extra in the Castle Age. It's an incredibly strong tech up. The reason why is because if your enemy does go for 2 town centres, well, extra 8 villagers instantly upon aging up to the Castle Age helps bridge that gap in a big way. Both players going to try and get as much of the bounty off the field as they can, going for the deer camps, going right next to each other as well. Going to be contesting this one as well. Now, the map is regions, by the way. I think I mentioned Dry Arabia. That's a mistake. It's actually regions, and you can tell because there's 3 gold veins in the middle, but also you have got berries on the right side and a deer camp on the west side. So, yeah, this is regions. Definitely not Dry Arabia. The big difference is the resource spawning, with the deer, hunt, boar on the west side, the berries on the east side, and the gold right slap bang in the middle, which is actually kind of a cool thing because now it's going to mean that both players are going to be looking to contest that gold in the middle as the game wears on. Usually 20 minutes to 25 minutes in the game, that's where they want to be to gather that gold. 8,000 gold vein tiles here, 3 of them. So keeps could be abound. Now, I'd like to say a very big thank you for everyone who's been supporting the channel, whether it be on YouTube or Twitch. You guys are absolute legends. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's been a great bit of growth here recently, and we'll see where this takes us. And it will be the military wing coming out for Puppypaw, but it's going to be getting a good amount of desert raiders relatively soon, 1 every 2 minutes of the rest of the game. Now, bear in mind, if he does actually go for the growth wing to get to the next stage, he has already eaten the berries on one of the patches, so he's not going to get the extra bit of food on that. So when you do go up to the next stage with growth wing, you do end up getting an additional 50 food if you're going up to the field age, 100 food if you go up to the castle age with it. So fortunately, he's not going to get that for that little bush anyway. He'll get it for the rest of them, as long as they're not taken fully. So he's purposefully, well, he's just getting 1 villager there, but would do well to spread them out. But maybe he's not going for growth, and maybe that's why he's quite happy to take the berries in that way. Going to bring some sheep back home. And the great thing for the Ayyubids, they don't necessarily have to, bring the sheep back home until quite a lot later than a lot of other civilizations, because they do rely on the berries early on. And the Roos, of course, with 3 scouts usually, they can get a lot of the sheep that's on the map. It looks like actually, in fact, Beastie may have opted for just... Yeah, there is the 3rd one there, actually. Yeah, so it did get the 3rd scout, rather. Of course, the hunting cabin helps with that. And the village going out to stone now to get the 2nd town centre. The Kremlin placed on the deer camp. Going to be protecting that area very nicely. So should be able to gather quite a bit of food from that as time wears on. So definitely going to be a 2nd town centre play here for the Roos up against the Ayyubids. I wonder whether if he's going to go to Stoke Castle Age or put some pressure in the feud age. It's something they could potentially do. They're concerned about leaving the Roos kind of unchallenged with the 2 town centre play. They can really boost that economy. You can see he's already got Wheelbarrow, courtesy of having Bounty in. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him getting double Broadaxe relatively soon as well. And there's that age up just about to come in for the House of Wisdom. There is one other opportunity potentially to go for the culture wing to tech up a little bit quicker, with a little bit cheaper as well. It's not commonly done these days, but it's something that can help him gather the relics off the map, which is something that he's probably going to contest, right? What's kind of interesting is the Roos get access to the warrior monks, which are obviously quite fast on their feet, but likewise, Ayyubids get access to the dervishes, and they can make a dash for those relics as well. There is the first desert raid on the field for the Ayyubids. It's going to be scouted out by the Roos and Beastie, so it's going to keep a track on this. And back at home, the Roos. He's possibly going to be looking to secure up a gold vein with the 2nd town centre. We'll just get confirmation of that where he does place that 2nd town centre. Could potentially go around the back. Would actually be a weird position here with stone involved as well. And I kind of like that because what that allows, it allows the stone to be gathered for a keep later on in the game. And that could be crucial. Gets an outpost and gold. You can see the Ibis definitely looking to play for a castle edge. Getting arrow sticks as well to help him get there. Scout goes down for Beastie. So we'll be down to 2 scouts as we speak. And so yeah, we'll be certainly military wing into castle age. Now the Rus castle age timing is not too terrible when you go for 2 town centers even. Obviously it won't be as fast as the Ibid, so there should be a good opportunity here for Puppypaw to get a lion's share of those relics. And I can't imagine he will go for growth actually, will he? Because that's unfortunate. He's going to miss out on a bit of food on the berries. Now considering the Ibids, how they play out, you can actually look to secure the berries on the right side. That's a lot of free food for them. Desert Raider pushing away the scout. He might actually get this in the end. He's got the range attack. That's actually going to work. Is it going to work? It's going to be close. He gets it in the end. So Beastie now down to 1 scout. Good pickoff. So the second town should actually be placed a little bit closer to the Kremlin. And I like that because, of course, he's probably going to be up against a castle edge Ibis very soon. Ibis can go for heavily armoured units. And if they're not close to a static defence as the Kremlin is, it could be pressured very badly. In any case, Beastie looking to wall up with palisades to secure the gold a little bit. And we'll be securing that 1 relic behind the walls as well. Now, I've got to say, relic positions maybe favour Beastie a little bit, but, you know, the tech up's definitely going to be favouring the Ayubids. And he's going to go up to the next stage. He's going to go up with growth in the end, so we'll get the 8 villagers, but unfortunately won't be able to get the extra food on the berries. It doesn't seem like a lot, but when you think it's 100 food per berry bush, that's actually 500 food there. But of course, Puppypaw and Beastie, 2 of the best players, and so if they can make it work without needing that, well, then they're showing that you don't necessarily need it. It's not as big as an impact as we think then, maybe. Puppypaw just keeping an eye on gold, and if Beastie is heading in that position, getting a Desert Raider there is actually kind of important, because he's going to not only keep an eye on it, but also try and challenge any villagers that do go out to gold. Try and delay that castle age for the Rus a little bit more extensively. One thing that's good for the Rus, just as civilizations like the Jeanne d'Arc faction or the French, getting the knights out early, they can still play that extended feudal age. The only problem is they're playing into Ibis that have the Desert Raiders, and they get the camel unease bonus, causing enemy horse cavalry units to deal 20% less damage. A significant debuff. The militia are out for the Rus. Going to push away the Desert Raider, and is now going on to gold. So, yeah, Puppypaw will be aware of the situation, but probably feeling a bit comfortable about things because he knows he's up to the next stage soon. There's no way to quicken it up. It's just going to take as long as it's taking, 23 seconds before he gets there. Prepping some stables for some Cavalry Lancers, most likely. And he's going to get a lot of mobility on the map. A lot of control probably going to be established by the Obids, but Rus quite comfortable to play close to home and then build on out. The question is whether he'll be able to build out quick enough, because giving away map control on a map like Regions can be fatal considering the gold positions. Ultimately, there is only 1 gold vein here for Beastie to rely on for now. He might venture out to this one on the west side, but if Puppypaw controls this, it will be very difficult for Beastie to mount a response to any sort of castle drops in the middle. He's going to run out of gold. Now granted, the Rus do get a bit of passive gold generation from the hunting cabin. That will help him a little bit. You can see 23 gold per minute coming on in this one. And if he does go with the high trade house in a really nice spot here, he should be able to get plenty of gold that way. Desert Raider's going to try and break through and snag that relic potentially here. Desert Raider's just being a bit annoying on the right side as well. Villager lead is up at 6, but bear in mind with growth, like he's going to get an extra 8 villagers. He's actually got them, to be fair. So yeah, he's actually managed to equalize that a little bit. And so even with the extra 8 villagers, Beastie is up 7 villagers in total, and he's going to go up to the next stage with the high trade house, exactly in the location we kind of expected it to be. A couple of archers going to poke and prod the Ayubids away. I wonder whether Ayubid's going to go for the deer camp. Like, there's no reason not to, I suppose, because he's, you know, playing with a lot of control on the map. Wouldn't be surprised to see a couple of camel lancers. There they are, they're being queued up. There's the mosque, and Dervish should be popping out soon, if not already, to look to gather those relics. It certainly looks like Puppypaw wants to try and steal this one, and it makes a lot of sense, right? At the very least, he's keeping the archers back at home for Beastie, and I don't think Beastie's going to contest these relics all that much. It's kind of a concern. There's the first camel lancer on the field. I'm sure we'll be followed by the Dervish. There he goes. Oh, didn't want that one. There we go. We got there in the end. The castle age will be in now for the Rus. by the time he does, the first relic already picked up by the dervish, heading on back home. Carrying that heavy relic on his back. That looks like a bit of a burden to bear, isn't it? The question is, how does Beastie deal with the camel lancers? It could be a nice option to go for crossbows. In fact, I don't think he has much of an option. Like, he can't really go for knights because, yeah, camel lancers just will take a good, effective trade on them. He's going to get his first monastery and first warrior monk out. It looks like the Puppypaw with Iber is going to go for a second town centre. This is actually something that they commonly do. As I said, actually, is it for Araslits? No, it is for a second town centre on the deer camp. And Beastie will be aware of this, so Puppypaw will be able to keep up a little bit. That's the benefit of going for Growth Wing, kind of bridge that gap. 8 villagers you get for free, and then you get into a second town centre a little bit later than your opponent, but getting the extra 8 villagers helps with that gap. And so he shouldn't be too far behind, and he's got a lot of military on the field, high premium units, whereas Beastie relying on mostly ranged units and infantry. First relic is inside the mosque now as we speak. And a second relic already being brought back. In fact, he's looking to get a third as well. Alright, well, Beastie, he's had enough of being passive. He's looking to put a bit of pressure on the relic on the south corner. One of the very few relics that's still available to get. Warrior Monk might be walled in. Actually, no, I think the army should get in that position quick enough. But Puppypaw recognizing the danger now, potentially. And I wonder if he's going to send a couple of units. Going to try and burn through the palisades. Yeah, he's going to go... he's got a decision to make, right? Does he try and challenge this relic? Try and pick it up? Or does he try and deny this one being stolen? Looks like he's going to go for the latter approach and try and stop this being stolen. Doesn't have much in the way of units here, and the problem is he's got mostly camel lancers, which don't deal well against spearmen and crossbows. So it looks like Beastie might be running away with maybe 2 of the 5 relics, really. We shall see, because maybe if Puppypaw can just snipe out that warrior monk, maybe that's a way into this. He spots the crossbows, he knows where the units are. The warrior monk just arcing a little bit further on the right side. Then to make their way through could be an option for him. Crossbows are here, poking and prodding at the dervish. Camel Lancers under pressure, Spearman brace, and I think the Camel Lancers might trade here, but I'm not sure how well this is going to work out for him. He doesn't have much of a front line. I think Beastie will be quite happy to take this fight. He doesn't really have the units he wants here, the Iberds. He's going to try and back away now, but he's lost a couple. He's got a couple of ranged units of his own crossbows. Camel Lancer crossbow for the Iberds, crossbows Spearman for Beastie, and he actually invested in the militia, calling them in from the Kremlin. That will enable them to get that relic safe and secure back at home. There he is. Warrior Monk, back home from his hard job, his hard journey. He's made it home. The militia just moving forward, adding in a couple of Gulam as well, which is actually a tricky situation, right? Because up against crossbows, you might be looking to just overmass and overwhelm, but that's a tricky unit to be building into. When you're up against Rus crossbows, he's well set up here, Beastie, for that. Now, one thing that's quite nice for the Iberds could potentially get a couple of Manjanik, a heavily siege unit that can dish out all sorts of damage to infantry units, and I wonder if both players are going to start to think about going to the middle. Let's just see how much gold is left remaining. About 1,400 for the Rus. Iberds just about to expire theirs, and so I think he will need to make a dash for the middle soon. He could potentially look to take this gold. I don't think... there's a question, right? Does Puppypaw rely on this, or does he go for the middle? I got a feeling like it makes a lot of sense to go for the middle. He's been thinking about going for the deer camp for a while. Alright, well, looks like the Rus is going to go for the boar in an exposed area, but he's going to get it in the stealth forest. That'll give him a little bit of protection, at least from being spotted. Looks like Beastie looking to get for the berries as well. He wants to take the free food off the map. He doesn't want a farming transition, which is understandable. But I do love this map and the way that it kind of encourages plays for the middle, whether it be for food or gold. Right, Lancers having to back away. Now, the Rus do have a significant army, an army that is going to pose a problem for the Iberds, or hasn't finished the walls here, actually. So there's a bit of a weak spot there for the Iberds. That could come to haunt him. He's actually going to go for the stone in the middle as well and look to get a keep as much as possible, quickly as possible. That's kind of exposed. I've got to say, not much in terms of military there. If that's something that Beastie spots, could be dangerous. But of course, Puppypaw recognizing the army is mostly on the west side for Beastie, so he feels a bit more comfortable doing that. Oh, Camel Lancers might get snapped on the right side. Puppypaw about to lose too. No, he managed to get out of there. Oh, no. Oh, the pathing on that. That was unfortunate. Dying on the sacred site. He's going to go for the boar on the west side as well. I think he's just killing it for the bounty, really. Spearman about to engage, but decent enough range units, pushing away the spearmen and the crossbows. I wonder if Beastie is actually quite comfortable taking this fight. Lance attacking the front and does have a couple of archers there behind them. Loses a couple of dervishes there, or one dervish at least. But I think it's a fight that Beastie will be quite happy to fight with. He's going to go into the stealth forester just to get a little bit of an advantage there on the right side. Gulam pushing on in. He wants to pressure this right side Puppypaw. He's not happy about Beastie taking the berries. Understandably so. He wants them for himself, ideally. More importantly, he doesn't want the food coming in for the Roos, because the Roos actually do have a hard farming transition. There it is. It's being built as we speak. It's quite typical of their playstyle. They run out of food quite quickly at times, and they have that hard transition, and Beastie's suffering quite heavily because of it. Because of the fact that, you know, when you build this number of farms, you can't keep up momentum in terms of unit production. Puppypaw going to be aware now of that wooden fortress behind the stealth forest. Speaking of food, there's plenty of berries on the right side that Puppypaw might look to take. He's going to go for the middle now and get the gold and get a keep in the position. So he's going to be the first person to get a keep, which is actually really, really powerful. He's grouping up in the middle here, Puppypaw, waiting to build up a mounting response and a force to push out with. Beastie, though, always just keeping a bit honest on the west side, always poking and prodding. But Puppypaw has a lot of military units. Actually even has that ram, of course, took the wooden fortress and might push with that. The Roos just expanding their walls just ever so slightly. The Beastie actually snuck in and took that, but it will be decapped in the end and capped by Puppypaw. Scout just getting some information, but not spotting all that much. Will be cleaned up on the west side, Beastie. This little skirmish will be over. Looks like Puppypaw looking to push down in the middle now. Needs to be careful though, because Beastie does have a decent number of units. The first keep is up. I think Beastie's thinking about a keep of his own, right? He needs to get one down. He needs gold access. He's got the gold here to rely on for a short period of time, but he won't want to give up at this position. And if Puppypaw gets the second keep, it will be tricky. It will force the Roos into siege, which is actually something they do pretty well, especially when they get to the Imperial Age with the high armory, giving them a good discount on siege engines. But that's a long way away potentially here. We're nowhere near that kind of tech up to the Imperial Age. Looks like the Warrior Monk will go down to the Camel Lancer charging on in. In fact, they've got equal movement speed, but the Camel Lancer might catch up if he runs into a couple of buildings here, the Warrior Monk. Possibly could charge into either way on the north. Puppypaw making a move, and he's got a lot of military units. Puppypaw hasn't had to have a farming transition. That feels like the biggest difference here in this fight, in this match. But maybe that farming transition might come in soon. The Warrior Monk does die in the end. God, that's a way to die, isn't it? The horse rolling over your body. Yeah, Beastie quite confident. He feels like he wants to keep. Place the foundations, but he just relocates it a little bit for now. Not confident taking the fight with how many units here for Puppypaw. Puppypaw recognizing that he is looking to get... Oh no, that's bad. He's losing villagers. Beastie's not recognizing it. That's a massacre. And not only is he going to lose the villagers, going to definitely lose the wooden fortress behind this. That's unfortunate. Beastie focusing in the middle. Desperate to get the palisade walls up. He's fighting on three fronts, to be fair. On the east side as well, Puppypaw getting some good value. Puppypaw starting to take some good fights, and that's actually going to make it very, very difficult for the Roos to come back. He's taking some bad trades. He's lost quite a few units, and there's no way kind of escaping the situation. He's got some forests in his way, and he's going to be cornered. This is a really good pick-off here. Puppypaw bringing in the army for Beastie and trapping him in a little bit. Going to fight with mostly ranged units and back away, but good damage output. Generally, he's got a couple of crossbows of his own though, Beastie. Going to take the fight, stand and fight. There's a good number of crossbows. He's got some man-at-arms, but the number of crossbows here for the Ivy is looking great. In the north, Puppypaw again putting some pressure on gold, and gold is an issue here for Beastie. He's got 500 gold banked up, but it's not quite enough to really sustain adequate production. He needs more, but he doesn't have it safe and secure. And the concern for Beastie was possibly trying to get a keep on the south or in the middle. He needs to protect this gold vein for sure, at least. If he loses that, then it will be curtains. No access to gold means no access to premium units. Generally means losing the game. Puppypaw should be cleaning this all up. It's Beasty losing an extensive number of miniature units, that's for sure. You can see that the destruction value there for Puppypaw, more than double than that of the Roos and Beasty. Well, Mangonel does deploy. That could be his one way back into the game here, Beasty. Concern for him, though, is the Ibis can build springles on the ground, building an outpost, and also keep on the right side for some berries and food. Just again, delaying that farming transition. So Puppypaw, if he gets control of food locations on the edge of the map, which he is doing, that would be really important to delay the farming transition. He keeps on pumping out units. Oh, villagers dying here for the Roos. He can't get the keep up. And did he lose that? Did he lose the stone for it? I think he may have lost the stone for it. All I do know is that he's going to lose villagers trying to get the keep up. And he's not going to manage it. Not yet, anyway. He's dancing a little bit, Puppypaw. There is one Mangonel getting good value. But he's just trying to delay things as much as possible. I don't think Puppypaw can really contest this. I think he has to back away. And Beasty will get the keep. And we'll be able to get some gold in. He's losing a lot of units for the Mangonel shots, though, especially with the second Mangonel. I think Puppypaw should be better off just to back off here. He's taking a trade, but it's definitely not a good effective one. He's backing away now on the north side. He's putting some pressure with the Ghulams. And Beasty's struggling to get gold, but that problem has been solved temporarily. Now, we could potentially decap that sacred site on the right side as well. 3 relics and a sacred site for Puppypaw. That gold income going to be looking decent. It's got a decent amount of gold in the bank, but Beasty now solidifying his position in the middle on the right side of it. Now looking to try and maximize his gold income and then work from there. Puppypaw with the trebuchet. 2 siege workshops are forward. 2 Mangonels about to deploy. Oh, villagers! Oh, God. He loses 1. Takes a lot of hits on the other villagers there. A lot of HP went down. Got to be careful about those gold villagers. They do garrison inside in time, just about. And all of a sudden, it looks like Beasty's the one who's being pretty aggressive and getting some value. Although Puppypaw still denying villagers and gold on the north side. On the east side, the keeper's up. Ghulam, the man at time's going to jump on in. Puppypaw not recognizing the villagers going to go down on the berries. He's going to lose a lot here. Now, just as Beasty didn't notice the villagers that were being slaughtered on the boar, Puppypaw's going to lose a bit here on the east side. Beasty moving forward now with 3 Mangonels, putting some pressure on the main base for him. He's going to try and get another keep out in the middle, potentially. But he's got to deal with the trebuchet. Man-at-arms are diving on in. Could have villagers to repair the trebuchets, potentially. All villagers going forward. The Mangonels could be deploying. This could be dangerous. Puppypaw, he's got to recognize this. The thing is, Beasty is kind of overextending a little bit. It's quite likely he's going to lose Mangonels. He loses 1. About to lose a second, and it's quite likely to lose a third. There it is. There's the Springald coming in for the Ibids, and that's actually a big pick-off. 3 Mangonels doesn't come cheaply for the Roos. Of course, he's not in the Imperial Age for the high armor yet, so I had to pay full price for those guys. Ghulams will be shot down. Beasty, though, is kind of caught in between 2 locations, the main base for the Ibids and the keep on the right side. Running into the trebuchet. Trebuchet is, well, it's not too bad in terms of health. Got a second one as well. He might want to repair that Puppypaw, not recognizing it. Uh-oh. He might lose 1. He loses 1 trebuchet. That's a good start. That's a good dive there for Beasty. I mean, if he gets the second one, that's massive. Those guys are not cheap. Those trebuchets going to try and repair now. It should get the repair. Oh my God, that was close. He just about managed to repair it in time. I think Man-at-Arms will be taken care of now. That's massive. It's not a cheap unit by any means, a trebuchet. A good 550 resources. Beasty trying to make some moves on the east side to deny berries. Trying to get some stone walls. Might actually deny the stone walls. That's actually a lot of villages that might go down pretty quickly. And Beasty trying to get a position there with a keep. Again, the Ibis not having to farm transition too much. It's got a couple of farms just to, buffer the blow. But now, with the keep under siege, Beasty might need to send villagers out to repair, but that's only half the problem. He needs to deal with the trebuchets. Yeah, Puppypaw losing a lot of villagers here. Not ideal. Villagers have been walled out, though, temporarily. So Beasty can't get to the keep position that he wanted. He will lose his crossbows in the end, but at what cost? I mean, I think that was a good trade overall for Beasty. He killed a lot of villagers. Puppypaw has to go back to the drawing board now with 3 trebuchets. If he can keep the trebuchets safe and secure, he'll be in a good spot. And ultimately, Beasty can't really match the numbers of Springals just yet. So might have to rush in with Man-at-Arms, heavily armored units to dive in on the trebuchets like he has once before. But if he does so, he might lose a couple of units to the keep. Especially if the repairs come up for the villagers on the trebuchet. He's going to try and keep the keep alive. He doesn't. The keep does go down. A little bit too late with the Springalds out for the Roos. Here come the militia, though, so he's going to dive in. Those are definitely throwaway units. So this could work out pretty well for him. Springalds engage, and Beasty taking the fight, actually. And he loses the Springald. He loses the second. But all the springs will go down to the militia, so great pushback here by Beastie and those militia. Gulamin getting involved. He needs to keep the trebuchets alive here, Puppypaw, if he can. At his very best, but he might lose one to the springalds. He might even lose one to the militia. We shall see. Oh, God, there's 2 trebuchets very low on health. One goes down. Still 2 trebuchets remain. If he's losing the springalds now, it seems a big pushback for Puppypaw. He dove in quite heavily, and he's going to lose a couple of villagers here on gold. He's going to lose that gold position, actually. This is where it becomes kind of crazy. He's actually managed to start rebuilding another keep. Trouble for Beastie. He's got 3 trebuchets in his face soon. And looks like almost Puppypaw with a large military lead. With great food income. Secured food income on the right side. That is huge. Getting control of the right side. Massive there for Puppypaw. Beastie finding it difficult to mine gold efficiently. And that keep that has been built is going to have repairs because there are 2 trebuchets firing off. Puppypaw in a really good spot here. 26 minutes on the clock, and unfortunately Beastie just has not found a way to deal with the trebuchets. And with 2 sacred sites capped, the sacred site timer is ticking. 8.5 minutes on that, so Beastie has 2 problems really. 3 problems in fact. There's a bit of an annoying raiding here in the north. There's a problem of potential lack of gold in the next 2-3 minutes, and there's the problem of the sacred sites. And Trebuchet is still working hard. He's got a decent number of springles here with the Ayubids. And he takes out the 2 springles there for Beastie in a blink of an eye. That's really not what he would have wanted. He's diving on. He does have a mangonel, Beastie. In fact, he's got a trebuchet of his own. But there it is, ladies and gentlemen. He knows he's down and out. It took a couple of trades that just weren't working out for him. And Puppypaw controlled the map on the left side and on the right side, gaining that valuable food. He takes the game, controlling the middle as well. Hope you guys enjoyed this casted game on YouTube. If you did, make sure you give the video a thumbs up. Take care, and see you next time.